Selamat pagi from United Cities and Local Governments Committee on Social Inclusion, Participatory Democracy and Human Rights, set in Barcelona. I would like to congratulate INFID for the initiative of organizing this Indonesian Forum on Human Rights Cities. We have been working for all over the past years with INFID to promote human rights cities, and we have been working mainly in two spaces: the Gwangju World Human Rights Cities Forum, which is a very important space to articulate civil society, local governments, human rights activists, academia, to improve human rights cities. And also with INFID, we have been working a lot at Geneva in the Human Rights Council of United Nations to advocate for the recognition of the role of local governments in promoting, fulfilling, and protecting human rights. I know that there are very, very committed cities and districts in Indonesia. Wonosobo district is an example. East Lampung is also an example for us. And this is very important because in Indonesia, you have a very good framework supported by the government to improve the human rights cities framework. Regional agencies of local development that are implementing human rights education tools to promote human rights, together with the celebration of the Human Rights Days, a lot of awareness projects that are a supportive and enabling environment for cities. All these examples, all these cases of Indonesia are very relevant to feed the international work we do, because we need examples, we need exemplarity of commitments of mayors, of regents, of chief of district that strongly commit for human rights. And this is for us very important to have view as Indonesian cities, Indonesian regencies and districts to be organized to participate in this international movement. What is at stake when talking about human rights cities? What is at stake is putting people at the center of policies. And that's why it's so important. And when we talk about putting people at the center, the more vulnerable people. And I know that in Indonesia, you use this concept of human rights friendly cities to work very strongly with women, with children, with migrant workers. And for us, this is a very important example. And this is very important because these human rights cities framework also enabled to fight inequalities from a structural perspective. And this is a way also putting human rights at the center of local policies. This is a way of renewing the social contract between local governments and all the stakeholders and the people of the cities, including the business and the companies that have to be accountable for their actions in terms of human rights. And I wanted to refer to Gwangju's principle for human rights, which defines a human rights city as both a local community and a socio-political process in a local context, where human rights play a key role as fundamental value and guiding principles. And this is very important to refer to this definition, because it's a community-based approach. And this is also guiding principles and values of social justice at local level for us human rights cities. If we refer also to the human rights-based approach as it has been defined by the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, a free, active and significant participation of all the inhabitants, regardless of their status, particularly the most marginalized people. the accountability of all stakeholders in a territory in the respect, protection, and promotion of human rights of all inhabitants in a transparent way, subject to the supervision of the latter and to the presentation of appeals. Dealing with the issues of discrimination, violence, and inequalities in a structural way, and deploying as many resources as are available for the gradual achievement of economic, social, cultural, and environmental rights. So yes, we promote that local governments can adopt this approach and that this approach can be expanded as a framework for democracy and social justice at local level. But to do so, two conditions are important. We cannot have human rights cities if cities doesn't have a decentralization framework, sound resources and competencies. And the second condition is the participation of civil society. It will not be possible to have human rights cities without civil society. About the issue of your forum, and I would like really to congratulate you again for this very pertinent and powerful issue on violent extremism. Coming back to the origins of human rights, the very ancient origin of human rights have always been a way of allowing peaceful coexistence. From the more ancient time, in the Mande Empire in West Africa in the 13th century, the Charter of Kungamfuga of Sundiata Keita was a charter of, in a way, of human rights that allowed a peaceful coexistence between people. And human rights have always been related to peace. As you know, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights has been adopted in 1948 after the Second World War as a way to ensure peace and safety in our world. Every time we meet violence, this is a failure of human rights. We saw violent attacks all over the world, and I think definitely that it is a failure in terms of human rights. And the tendency of the policy to react to this violence and extremism is to cut human rights and fundamental freedoms. And this is a very big blindness we have. Cutting human rights, they are in a vicious circle because they are promoting at the same time the causes of this violent extremism. When talking about violent extremism, we also have to focus on how do we promote these human rights value? How do we promote them in the concrete and daily life of people, bringing back human rights home? And I really encourage you to have a good forum and be sure that we will share your outcomes with all our international network. So let me finish by inviting you to two important moments within our international network at UCLG. Two important moments on two very relevant issues for human rights at local level. The first of these moments is the campaign on the right to housing that we are having under the lead of Barcelona Mayor Ada Colau and with the UN Special Rapporteur on the right to housing. This campaign is a global movement, and we invite all the cities interested and all the NGOs interested in joining the SHIFT movement. And the second one is around migrants, migrations and migrant rights, migrations and cities. So at UCLG, we are organizing cities and local governments to promote a human rights-based approach on migrations. So we definitely invite you to join us to these two campaigns and to follow the promotion of human rights city all together vis-a-vis of United Nations and the States. Thank you and good forum.